Phil Dunphy is the happiest guy in every room he walks into. The fun dad, the magic tricks, the cheerleading routines, the Phil's osophy. The man who loves his wife out loud, adores his kids, never has a bad day. If you had to pick the most emotionally healthy person in this entire family, you'd pick Phil in a heartbeat. The optimist, the golden retriever in a polo shirt. But what if I told you that the happiest guy in that house is also the loneliest? That the smile isn't proof he's okay, is the reason nobody ever checks. And once you see it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Let me prove it. Start with the basic deal Phil makes with everyone around him. Watch how he enters a scene. He's not asking for anything. He's performing. He's got a bit, a trick, a dad joke, a plan to make the day fun. Phil shows up to be delightful, and it's adorable until you ask the obvious question. Why does this grown man work so hard every single day to be entertaining for his own family? Because somewhere a long time ago, Phil learned the contract. Be fun enough, be useful enough, be harmless enough, and people will keep you around. The clown doesn't get rejected, the clown is safe. So Phil became the most lovable man alive, and the cost of that, the part nobody clocks, is that he can never stop performing long enough to just be a person who's having a hard time. Because a sad Phil breaks the deal. A needy Phil isn't the deal. The deal is the smile. And look at how the family treats that smile. His kids roll their eyes at him. Claire, who genuinely loves him, spends half the show managing him like a fourth child, handling him, steering him, a little embarrassed by him. Nobody's cruel, but there's this quiet, constant message Phil absorbs from the people closest to him. You're a lot of fun, buddy, but we don't quite take you seriously. And Phil takes it with a grin. Every time. But that's not the wound. That's just the daily weather. The real wound has a name, and the name is Jay. Because here's a man, Phil, who walks into this family wanting one thing more than anything else: for his father-in-law to love him. Not tolerate him, love him. And season after season after season, Jay gives him almost nothing. Jay finds Phil ridiculous, goofy, soft. He withholds his approval like it's a limited resource he's protecting. And Phil, this is the part that gets me, Phil never stops trying. He keeps showing up, he keeps reaching. He wants to ride bikes with Jay, wants to be invited, wants to be the son. Jay actually picked instead of the one who came attached to his daughter. And think about what that tells you. A man only chases a father's approval that hard, for that long, when there's a hole there already. When some part of him is convinced he has to earn the right to be somebody's son. So Phil spends years auditioning for a dad. And on the rare occasion Jay finally cracks, finally says something kind, finally calls him a good man, finally lets him in for 30 seconds. Watch Phil's face. He lights up like a kid on Christmas, like he's been starving and someone finally handed him a plate. And it's a beautiful moment, sure. But step back. The size of his joy is the size of the hunger. You don't react that way to a crumb unless you've been going without the meal for a very, very long time. And that brings me to the thing the show mostly keeps in the background, the thing that explains where all of this comes from: Phil's mother. Because Phil's mum is gone, and that relentless, almost superhuman positivity Phil carries everywhere, that's hers. That's the Dunphy code, passed down from his parents. The decision to meet the world with a smile no matter what it does to you. Phil's dad, Frank, is the same way. Cheerful, sweet, sentimental. These are gentle, loving people who taught their son that the answer to pain is to stay upbeat and keep everyone else's spirits up. But here's what nobody in the Pritchett family ever really sits with. Phil lost his mother, and he kept smiling. He grieved the way he was raised to grieve, quietly, privately, with a brave face on for everyone else. And later, when Frank moves on with his life, when his dad isn't around the way he used to be, Phil swallows that too, because that's the code. You don't make your sadness somebody else's problem. You absorb it, you wrap it in a joke, and you keep the mood light. That's not comedy. That's a man who learned as a child that his job is to carry the room so nobody else has to feel heavy, and he never put it down. Which is why Phil ends up being the one thing no family ever thinks to thank. the emotional shock absorber. Watch the show with this lens and it's everywhere. Claire's stressed, Phil softens it. The kids are melting down, Phil diffuses it. Jay's being cold, Phil takes the hit and smiles through it. Phil is the family's mood regulator. He's the one who makes sure everybody else gets to have their bad day because he's holding the floor steady underneath them. And that is one of the loneliest jobs a person can have, because the shock absorber never gets to be the one who's falling apart. The whole system depends on him being fine. And here's the cruelest piece of it, the thing that I think actually makes Phil tragic instead of just sweet. Phil is adored, genuinely. This family loves him, but there's a difference between being adored and being known. They love Phil the way you love a warm fireplace. For what he does for the room. They love the function, the fun, the comfort, the lightness he generates. What almost nobody does across the entire run of the show is turn to Phil on a hard day and ask him how he's actually doing. Because why would you check on the fireplace? The fireplace is fine. The fireplace is there to keep you warm. Phil is surrounded every single day by people who would be devastated to lose him and have no idea what's underneath the smile. That's not being unloved. That's something quieter and sadder. That's being loved entirely for the mask and never once for the face behind it. And I think that's the whole tragedy of Phil Dunphy, and it's why I had to make this video. He's not lonely because nobody loves him. He's lonely because somewhere along the way, he decided that love is something you earn by performance, by being fun, by being useful, by being the one who never needs anything back. So he can be standing in a house full of family who adore him and still, on some level, be auditioning, still be working, still be a little boy doing a magic trick, hoping that this time it's good enough that they'll let him stay. He never gets to rest inside his own family's love, because he doesn't believe it's the kind you're allowed to rest in. He thinks it's the kind you have to keep paying for. So, go back and watch him now. The next time Phil does a bit, lands a joke, throws his arms wide and lights up the room. Look at his eyes for the half second after the laugh lands when he's checking to make sure it worked. That's not a goofy dad, that's the loneliest man in the house, making sure he's still earning his seat at the table. And here's what I keep coming back to. There's a Phil in almost every family. The relentlessly positive one. The one who's so easy, who never seems to need anything, who's always fine. And because they're always fine, they're the one person nobody ever actually asks. We let the happy ones carry us, and we never stop to wonder what it costs them to keep smiling. So, let me ask you, was Phil Dunphy the emotional heart of that family, or the one quietly paying for everyone else to feel okay? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I really want to know if you saw the smile the way I did. And if you've got a Phil in your life, maybe today's the day you ask them how they're really doing. If these are hitting you, pull up a chair and subscribe. Stay with me at the table. We've still got the whole Pritchett family to break down, one quiet heartbreak at a time. See you in the next one.